All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another MLB The Show 25 stream here on Twitch. I'm NextJGGen24, and today we're going to be picking up where we left off in the Snowflake map. So, yesterday I started this. I basically gained a lot of territories, and now I'm looking to get the Chicago White Sox and their stronghold. That's the first one I'm focusing on. I don't know how which way I'm gonna go. Probably gonna go counterclockwise. So I'll start with the White Sox, head over to Red Sox. Then we got the Rockies and Cubs. Then the Phillies and Mets, and finally the Twins and Tigers. So that's pretty much how I see this going down, essentially. So, but of course, we're not just here to play. We're not just here to play MLB The Show. Whoa. Hold on. Whoa, I am glad I saw that before I even decided to hop into a game. I completely forgot to change my lineup here. That is my fault. It is completely my fault. Did not mean for that to happen. It just happened. Let's see. We're going to want Senga. Yep. And I'll probably just add Logan Gilbert and Freddie Peralta. Or no, actually, maybe Scooble. Yeah. You know what? We'll do Scooble. Because there's no way, yeah. I didn't think Logan Gilbert had more parallel XP than Scooble did. I like using Scooble. Alright, guys. Hold on. Because I know exactly where you guys are going right now with all these comments. So, alright. So, of course, we're not here to just play MLB The Show. We got to talk about the free agency that's been going on over the past 24 hours. So, and Mets made a mention to it about Kyle Tucker, signing a crazy 4 years, $240 million deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, $30 million of that money is being deferred, so, there we go with the Dodger deferrals. Okay, and I'll get to that in a second, Mets. I'll get to that soon, because there is a lot of layers here that we got to cover just in the Tucker signing alone. Okay, a lot of layers. But either way, this contract without all the deferrals would have been $60 million. Annually. Now it's still it's not that. It's actually $57 million a year, but that's still more than what Mr. Juan Soto signed for, and it's way more than what Shohei Ohtani is even getting. Raise the apple for Xander Bogaerts. Hitting home runs out here and not getting paid like an MVP. So that to me is the crazy part, that the Dodgers were willing to go that far for Kyle Tucker. And the funny thing is, that was one of their weaknesses on this team. This is a team that doesn't have too many weaknesses. Excuse me. But there are deferrals. There always have been deferrals. And that's the thing. Even if it's $70 million, it doesn't matter because it's all deferred. It's deferred till after he's done playing. After his 10-year contract with the Dodgers is over. Now, that's something the Dodgers are going to have to worry about when Ohtani is done playing. So, cross that bridge when we get there, I guess. Because it's going to be a lot of money. A lot. All right? But either way, this Tucker deal raised the apple for Carson Kelly. Okay? This Tucker deal, it's absurd. It's absurd that someone is willing to pay that much. I thought we were already paying a lot just for Soto because of his bat. No doubt Kyle Tucker is definitely going to help the Dodgers. There's no doubt about that. I don't think there's anyone who disputes that. But $60 million a year or $57 million a year, and you're talking about more than Juan Soto, who finished, I think he was third in MVP voting last year, and Shohei Ohtani, who has won multiple back-to-back MVPs and even won an MVP in the American League.
Batting second, the designated hitter.
And Kyle Tucker, I'm trying to look at his accolades and justify the $60 million or $57 million. And I can't. See, at least Soto improved. Hard to believe, but he improved. He improved by adding speed to his arsenal, and right now he's going to need it.
0-1.
He's going to need speed. So, at least he improved. I don't know what the Dodgers have in mind for Tucker, but I hope it's a lot more. I hope they have big plans, because if you're going to spend that much on a guy that's going to be making freaking $57 million a year, there better be something. There better be some kind of plan. Otherwise, what you just said to Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, Will Smith, what you basically just said to them, Teoscar Hernandez, is that the most important signing was getting Kyle Tucker. Edwin Diaz, you signed Edwin Diaz. It is absolutely absurd. You know what? Initially, I'll be honest. Initially, I was disappointed. I said that in my tweet. I wasn't surprised. After all, the Dodgers were way too quiet. They were way too quiet in the negotiations for Tucker. I did not hear about an offer being leaked for them. And even the Mets, I thought, were kind of going a little high with $50 million a year. And then, of course, we find out that the final offer from the Mets was $220 million, which was $55 million a year. No deferrals on that. Plus a $75 million bonus, signing bonus. I think the Dodgers only offered $64 million to Tucker. Not to mention there were opt-outs too. There are opt-outs for that contract. Raise the apple for Michael Harris II. Whoops. I gotta break that thing. Okay, I'll get to Bo Bichette in a second. I'll get to him in a second, because I literally just saw that before I came on stream. But I'll get to it. Okay, I just want to talk about Tucker for a minute, because this started the whole domino effect. Once Tucker signed, all these other free agents are starting to get contracts.
Did he go?
Okay? That's the other big thing with this, is that now we're seeing the domino effect. But with this Tucker signing, I mean, the Dodgers clearly get better. There's no doubt about that. They're already on back-to-back World Series championships. Now, in all likelihood, they may win a third. Essentially, the Dodgers have become the new evil empire. And thus, this leads me to my next aspect of it, which is the lockout. Because now we've got to worry about that when the collective bargaining agreement ends at the end of this upcoming season.
0-1.
And there is no doubt in my mind that we're heading towards a lockout.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
The way that the Dodgers have been spending money, there are going to be enough team owners complaining, and the players, they're going to want a salary cap, and the players are not going to want that. In fact, I would not be surprised if the entire 2027 season gets canceled because of this. I would not be surprised. I'd hate it. You know, I hate to go through a season without any baseball.
Ball 1.
But at the end of the day, I'd understand.
1 ball, 1
In
strike.
fact, I'm predicting. Because what was the whole point?
1 ball.
What was the whole point of introducing the luxury tax?
3.
And mind you, this was with Steve Cohen in mind. This was with the Mets owner in mind. Thinking that was going to be the whole be-all, end-all to team spending, and yet Dodgers have done it, no problem, and they're like, we don't care. We don't care. And the end result? Back-to-back World Series. Shohei Ohtani in the Dodgers uniform. Teoscar Hernandez, Mookie Betts. Although Mookie went to the Dodgers well before this whole new collective bargaining agreement, or this latest collective bargaining agreement was signed. But
I got a 3-2.
you know, all these free agents that are signing with the Dodgers, and if we really want to make it official, like pretty much guarantee there's going to be a lockout, Dodgers can easily go for Tarek Skubal. They could easily go for him. And if they get him and sign him to a long-term deal, that's it. That is absolutely it. So, you know, we'll have to see what happens with that, but I'm pretty sure we're heading to a lockout. I think the salary cap is going to be the biggest issue, and I wouldn't be surprised if, honestly, the 2027 season is completely gone. Like, these owners, you think I'm kidding, they nearly shut down the 1994 season. They shut down the second half of that and the beginning of the 1995 season. So they could go a whole season. It wouldn't be good for their wallets. No, it would not be good for that. But they want to make a point, then they're going to do it, and they're willing to go that long. So I definitely see it may be, but at the end of the day, if you get enough owners complaining about it and they want to institute it, then that jealousy is going to cost the season.
Taylor.
All right. So now let's talk about how the Tucker signing impacts the Mets. And obviously the end result of it was them going out and signing Bo Bichette. Okay, but
Now
just
batting,
forget
the
Bichette
center
for
fielder,
1
number
second. All right, let's just
2.
put him off to the side. Here's what it looks like. It looks like that Tucker used the Mets offer to go to the Dodgers. I'm not sure if Tucker even had any intentions of going with the Mets. I don't know if there was even any interest on his part of being the next New York Metropolitan. I don't know. This signing leads me to believe that there was never any interest. And based on what I've seen reported, it seems like that Bo never wanted to go to Toronto.
The batter,
It
number
seems
2.
like he wasn't very comfortable with New York, yet somehow he's very comfortable in LA, which would be the second biggest market in terms of sports. But that's just me getting nitpicky. Raise the apple once again for Xander Bogaerts because he's absolutely lighting the Chicago White Sox up.
Number 60. Ryan.
But with Steve Cohen, this is an image problem. This is what it is. Because let's take a look at the free agents or the big signings that Steve Cohen has made since he has taken over the Mets. He signed Francisco Lindor after trading for him. So we're talking 10 years. I think it was $350 million or something like that. That's $35 million for Lindor. Soto, that was obviously the big one, $51 million annually, 15-year contract. Okay. So we're there. He also signed Scherzer and Verlander to some pretty short-term but high-end, high-money deals. That didn't work out, but they were willing to pay him. I would say that Escobar and Marte got some pretty hefty contracts, probably more than their value. But I bring this up because this is an important point to make. All these baseball players, all these top free agents that we're talking about, Kyle Tucker, Edwin Diaz, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, all these guys took what the Mets offered, went to the Dodgers, and said, "Can you give me a better deal?" To me, what this says is that all these free agents all that the free agents see Steve Cohen for is somebody that can make a large offer and they can go to the Dodgers and say, "Can you get me more?" And if the Dodgers oblige, then that's it. They're going to sign the contract and they become a Dodger. They win a World Series and all that. So it's an imaging problem right now for Steve Cohen and David Stearns. You know, when Steve Cohen took over, the whole idea was that he was going to be the East Coast Dodgers. He was going to spend the money to make the Mets competitive with the Dodgers. And right now, he's not doing that. What he is doing is throwing out a lot of money to free agents, and these free agents are taking it and they're going right to the Dodgers. Because I have yet to see a free agent who goes to the Mets and gets offered less from the Dodgers than what the Mets offer him. So, to me, this is an imaging issue. This is Steve Cohen not being taken seriously, nothing more than a guy who's going to offer a lot of money and is not going to land the big fish. That's just the reality. Now, if Steve Cohen and David Stearns want to change that, by all means, change it. But you need to land some big free agents. You need to show the baseball world that you guys are serious about winning a championship, that you want to sign these free agents and you want to win a championship. Otherwise, they're just going to take your offer, go right to the Dodgers and say, give me a better offer. And even if it's $1 million more, they're going to take it. So the way that I would clean it up, first of all, no more leaks. Okay, I keep seeing leaks about what the Mets are offering to these free agents. Okay, that happened with Kyle Tucker. I think it happened with Luke Weber as well. Like, all these leaks, someone is leaking to the media what these offers are. And the Dodgers, I'm pretty sure they just waited on the offer to leak before they made their final offer to Tucker. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So if I'm David Stearns, if I'm Steve Cohen, I'm saying no more. No more. No more leaks. You either sign this contract, no more leaks. These contract negotiations are now private. I'm not saying that. The leaks are coming. They're seeing it on social media. It gets posted on social media, Hoopin. The Dodgers are not cheating. They're basically seeing what the Mets are offering, and they can turn around and say, we'll offer more. It's not cheating. It's the fact that someone in the front office of the Mets is not doing a good job of keeping contract negotiations quiet. We know the Dodgers can do that because they just offered Tucker $60 million. Someone in the front office is leaking to the media about the Mets offer. Or maybe it's not even the front office. Maybe it's these agents that are putting it out there. If that's the case, then what I would say to these these agents is that if you leak this deal, this contract offer is gone. It's gone, and we're no longer interested. If it's the agents who are leaking it, I don't know who's leaking it. If it's someone in the front office, then the Mets need to fire that person. They cannot be allowing these contract negotiations to be negotiated on social media or in the public. And the other thing I would do, if I'm David Stearns or Steve Cohen, I say to these free agents, if you take this offer to the Dodgers or any other team and say, what else can you give me? Consider our offer rescinded, and you're not going to be able to, and you're going to have to pick whatever deal you want. It's either you sign with us or you go somewhere else. That's it. Bottom line, take it or leave it. If the players don't like that, tough. Tough, because the Mets should not be used to get a better deal from the Dodgers. That's what I would do if I'm Steve Cohen or David Stearns. I say enough of the leaks, enough of the negotiations on social media and everything. Enough with it. No more. Strike three, sit out. All right? I think that's one way towards rebuilding the image. I think another way to rebuild it, you got to get Juan Soto to stay with the Mets after the 5th year, because he may opt out. He may opt out and say, I want to go play for the Dodgers. So you got to convince Juan Soto that somehow he should stay in New York. That's going to be hard to do. That's going to be hard to do. But if you can convince Juan Soto to stay, what you're sending to the rest of the baseball world is that, hey, we got a top free agent who signed this massive deal. We gave him an opt-out after the 5th year. He chose to stay. He wants to build the Mets up. And he's gonna help us with the next. He's going to help us win the next championship.
He's up.
Well, here's the thing. Lindor's not going to be around for much longer after Soto if he opts out.
Hut. 0-1.
Soto's or Lindor's deal with the Mets started in 2022.
Hey.
So that means by 2032, that's when that's when he can opt out. Or that's when his contract is over. So we're talking possibly 3 seasons after Juan Soto could possibly opt out. So even if he wants to play with Lindor, there's no way the Mets are going to re-sign him. So he's going to have to play the rest of his career after that without Lindor.
0-1.
And Hoopin, I really think that he wants to win. That's why I'm thinking he's not going to come back to the Mets. Because if they don't win, and the fact that in 2025 they didn't even get back to the playoffs, I think is not a good sign.
Ball.
Okay. Oh, God. The goddamn ads, but that's my revenue right there. That's how I can get paid. Okay. All that I was saying was that with Soto, he wants to win. Okay, he wants to win another World Series. Hello, SB Champ. We're talking about the big free agent signings.
Number 44. Aroldis Chapman.
Obviously, you're pretty happy about JT Realmuto returning. I think that was the only fit for Realmuto. Going back to the Phillies, I think that was the only choice. No, I appreciate you letting me know because I was addressing you and you weren't going to hear what I was saying.
1-0.
That's why I held off.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that
1-1.
I'm telling you that with
1-2's the count.
I'm telling you that I don't see Soto staying with the Mets unless it's absolutely out of the loyalty he feels towards the orange and blue. Let's keep in mind that this is probably going to be only 4 seasons because I'm assuming that the 2027 season is going to be non-existent. And if Soto didn't get any protections or anything if Soto didn't get any protections for a lockout, then we're only getting 4 seasons of Juan Soto.
Hey.
And that's going to be very, very unfortunate. But this is, this is not the choice. I don't know if it's the choice of Steve Cohen. Maybe he does want a salary cap, but I feel like that's going to work against him. Because now we're still over the tax threshold. Raise the apple for Jarren Duran. And a key one, too. That was a key home run right there.
Number 57.
So,
Red. Weiser.
Ball.
okay, well, now we can move on to the signing that happened this afternoon, which is Bo Bichette joining the Mets. And I know Gamer already told me what his opinion of it was. Okay? I personally am struggling to find out Yes, I saw it, Woogie, okay?
25.
I saw it.
Tony.
I'm sorry that I'm not paying. I'm sorry that I didn't acknowledge it, but I'm talking about a lot right now. Oh, raise the apple for Jim Tomey. Anyway, what I'm having a hard time understanding is where does Boba Fett fit? Where is he going to play? Hold on, raise the apple for Jose Bautista as well, because he just hit a home run. Because now you've got Lindor, Polanco, you've got Semien, and you've got Bichette.
Red Sox. Number 76.
He's never played third base. But then again, Jorge Polanco has never played first base.
That's
Yet
ball.
here we are. Oh my God. I would have rather they just go after Bellinger. At least Bellinger could play first base. Stop with the whole mix and matching. Trying to figure
ball.
things out.
That's inside.
Stop! Stearns, what the hell are you doing? Are you literally trying to turn the laws of baseball upside down? Oh, I'll just go to play any player anywhere that I want. What the hell is this? Is this Little League? Is it like, oh, I'm going to put this player here, this player here, this player here, this player there. I'm just going to do whatever. Like, this is professional baseball. This is not Little League where you can just put people wherever you want. Yes, there is a rant. Because I'm having a hard time understanding where it is that Boba Fett fits. I get that he's a great bat. Okay, fine. He's a great bat. But is he playing second? Is he playing second? Because, can you trust Marcus Semien? But that's the other thing. Why would you go get Marcus Semien if you were just going to get... If you were hoping to get Bichette? Maybe Bichette, I feel like, was a Mets panic signing. They knew that fans were going nuts over social media. I'm pretty sure there were a lot of Mets fans canceling their season tickets, and David Stearns and Steve Cohen literally said, okay, let's just get anyone we can. Oh, Bo Bichette. Okay, that's good. Let's take him. Bo Bichette is not Pete Alonso. Now, that's not to discredit the year that he had. He had a solid year. Batting-wise. Yes, that is likely what's gonna happen, Woogie. Polanco at first, Semien at second, Lindor at short, and Bo Bichette at third. But it makes no sense. Polanco has never played at first. Bichette has never played at third. So what the hell are we doing? Bubbles, you say, oh, at least you're doing something. Okay, but there has to be a plan with that something. Otherwise, it's merely just caving to pressure. Woogie, we'll do our game. You just got to give me a minute. I'm so frustrated. I'm so frustrated as a Mets fan because there is no plan. This Bo Bichette signing, I feel like, was just a panic signing. The Steve Cohen and David Stearns had to go to the fans and say, okay, we need someone. A big name. We just need someone because we lost out on Tucker. And the big name Not Cody Bellinger, not Framber Valdez. No, let's go get Bo Bichette, even though our infield is already preloaded. Okay, you can have a loaded infield. The problem is, if you don't have anyone in the outfield, guess what? Hitters are just going to hit. They can hit over the infield. And not to mention, again, it's experimenting. We're experimenting with these position players. Thank you, Bubbles. I appreciate the 100 bits. I'm sorry. I'm going on a bit of a rant right now because these Mets, they're frustrating me. They're frustrating me because they're trying to sell to me that somehow they're going to be competitive this year, and they're doing it by having Polanco play first. They're going to have Bichette play third, even though neither one of them has played that position before. And I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated by it. I wanted a plan from David Stearns. That's what I wanted. I don't see a plan. What I see from the Mets is panic signing. That's all I see out of them. I'm pretty sure it was Kyle Tucker. They were hopeful they were going to get Kyle Tucker. Woogie, are you setting up the game, or do you want me to set up the game? Okay. Right? The way I see it, Bo Bichette was just a panic signing that the Mets are trying to do in order to salvage what they can of a 2026 season. You know what? I'll give the Mets 75 wins this year. I say 75. And I think I'm being generous at that because they still need a pitcher. They still need a center fielder and a first baseman because I don't trust Jorge Polanco. I don't. Not at first base. Second base, fine. Third base, maybe. Oregon Ducks? I thought you were a Washington State fan.
Leading off for the Ducks.
Pretty. I'd say it's about a 6. I'll give it a 6. Right? So this Bo Bichette, unless Bo Bichette turns into Pete Alonso all of a sudden, there's no way I see the Mets. There's no way I see this as anything more than a panic sign. That's all it is. So, and simply put, David Stearns and Steve Cohen need to up their image. Because right now, all they're seeing in the baseball world is as contract offers that players can take to the Dodgers and say, can you do better? And they likely do better. So, Steve Cohen and David Stearns need to get serious because right now, they are not serious. Right now, they're in a panic mode, and somehow they believe that Bo Bichette is going to solve their problems. I think that's ridiculous.
For New Jersey, the shortstop, Francisco Lindor.
Ball, that's inside.
All right. And 2027, like I said, I think we're heading towards a lockout. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It may be the entire season, maybe half the season. I mean, I'd hate to get another shortened season like what we got in 2020, but
The center fielder, Carlos Beltran.
but the owners, you know, they're going to go for that. They don't want. Well, the collective bargaining agreement ends after the 2026 season. So they're going to have to renegotiate a new one.
Third, the right fielder,
And from all the talk that I've heard,
Soto.
there's the issue of salary cap. They want some owners want to introduce a salary cap because they look at the LA Dodgers and they say this team is basically signing everyone. There's no salary cap to keep them in line, and they're just going to win World Series after World Series after World Series.
Leading off for Oregon, the first baseman, Bryce Harper.
Two is the count. Ball, down. Here he goes.
Strike three, sit out.
Batting fifth, the right fielder, Juan Soto.
Off the plate, ball one.
Batting sixth, the third baseman, Austin Riley.
Well, that's going to be abused by Juan Soto. No doubt about that.
0-1.
Here's the other thing, too, that I don't understand about the Bichette signing.
Ball.
This entire offseason, we were told, as Met fans, that they were going to focus on run prevention. They were going to do their best to build a defense behind their pitchers and make sure that they don't give up as many runs or as many hits. How does Bo Bichette do that? He was one of the worst defensive shortstops last year. His saving grace was his bat. That was his saving grace, but I'm having a hard time understanding how this fits into the whole run prevention lineup build. And I'm also having a hard time understanding why, if he was one of the worst infielder defenders last season, why we're putting him at a place known as the hot corner.
Alonso.
Hey. 0-1's
I
the
don't
count.
think the Dodgers are cheaters. They're just spending a lot of money. This is nothing different than what the Yankees did. They spent money. They went after their own players. This is nothing that the Yankees have done.
Batting fifth, the second
Yet nobody
baseman,
was complaining back then, albeit there was no social media back then.
Hey. 0-1.
So, but I'm having a hard time understanding what's different now compared to what the Yankees did in the late 90s and early 2000s. That's what I'm having a hard time understanding. That's why I'm not knocking the Dodgers for spending money. Okay, they don't care. And it's paying off for them because they've got 2 World Series, back-to-back World Series, and will likely get a third one. That's not cheating. That's basically them saying we don't care about the luxury tax. Why are you sorry to have to say it? Why? Because he was on Houston? Well then, why didn't they address that in the last collective bargaining agreement? The owners could have done that.
Leading off for
There's
the
29
Dodgers,
other
the
owners
catcher,
than the Dodgers.
Rodriguez.
Okay? It's likely something that's going to be addressed in this upcoming bargaining agreement.
0-1's the count.
I don't see how Bo Bichette fits what the Mets are trying to do. Okay, so they're doing it now. Actually, deferrals have been going on. The biggest deferral that I could think of, Bobby Bonilla. We're still paying that off. Deferrals have always been part of the baseball world. It's just it wasn't done at a common. It wasn't done at as much of a rate as the Dodgers are doing now.
Oh, that's out.
You want to address deferrals? Fine, address them. But good luck.
Ball. 3 balls, 1 strike.
I would say the Phillies. The Phillies needed Bo Bichette the most. It means that money is not going to be paid out to the player until years after the contract is done.
Outside, that's a ball.
So, in the case of Shohei Ohtani, all the hundreds of millions of dollars that he signed with the Dodgers, he's not getting that until after his playing days are done. Well, then why didn't Seattle make a push for him? I just look at Philly, and that was the team that I heard the Bo Bichette being in contract talks with. Okay, so fire him. Fire him and get a new GM.
Leading off for New Jersey.
Although that's a guy that led you, I think it was to the ALCS last year, so, you know, Mariners are at least a playoff team.
Aye. 0-1.
No. I was saying earlier that I thought the Dodgers were being too quiet and that they were going to come back with some kind of rich offer bigger than the Mets, that I didn't think the Mets were going to get Tucker. They were being way too quiet. Well, if they want to set owners on fire and pretty much guarantee the 2027 season to be non-existent, the Dodgers. I think the only team that he could potentially go to, other than the Dodgers, is the Mets. But for the Mets, they're going to have to trade for. They're going to have to trade for him. Raise the apple for Francisco Lindor. They're going to have to trade for him because if they let him leave in free agency, I'm not sure at this point, because I've been proven wrong by Edwin Diaz and Kyle Tucker so far, that the Mets are going to outbid the Dodgers. So if I'm the Mets, I say get whatever prospects you want, or whatever prospects you're willing to give up to get Skubal. Then say to Skubal, we want to sign you to a long-term deal. Here's what we're offering, and negotiate it. Negotiate it before spring training starts. Like, don't even give him a chance to go to free agency. Okay. All right.
Ball, that's outside.
I guarantee that Dodgers fans will be watching.
Aye. 1-1.
And you're going to have to convince the teams, or the fans of 29 other teams that they should not be watching baseball. Here's the thing, if fans are so fed up with the Dodgers, other fans, guess what? Don't go to the games. Don't watch on TV. Don't even bother. Don't go on social media. Okay? Don't bother. Just pretend like there's no baseball this season. Then you're going to really hit the owners in the wallet, and that's not going to be good for them. You really want to send a message, the fans can do it.
Yeah.
Don't renew season tickets. Don't even go to the games even once this season. Maybe you don't even go to any minor league stadiums either. The only respect that fans have are for their teams. I'm just saying, like, if fans of the 29 other franchises want to send a message, don't even go to games this year. This was actually quite a surprising thing that I learned about the Mets last year. They made over $320 million just last season in terms of ticket sales. Okay, they didn't make that much in terms of sponsorships or TV deals or anything like that. It was all attendance. Guess what? That $320 million could easily go under $200 million if fans choose not to go to the games. Now, unfortunately, I can't stop the seven-line army from going to games. That's already been determined. They're diehards. They're going to go either way.
Runner, he's going.
That's a ball. He's out.
Okay? And maybe there's other fans like that.
That's out.
But if the average fan really wants to send a message to the owners, don't buy a ticket. You know, we're all complaining about the affordability crisis in America right now. Well, hey, maybe you don't go to a baseball game. Sure, you disappoint your nephew or your son or your daughter or your niece or whoever enjoys baseball. You disappoint them.
Ball four. Take your base.
Sure. But if you really are passionate about making sure that the owners finally get the message and stand up to the Dodgers, then you don't go to the games. That's it, plain and simple.
Nope.
I know they did. They signed Max Scherzer too, and that didn't work out because both of them got traded during the 2023 season. So they didn't even finish the year. Scherzer didn't finish his deal with the Mets, and Verlander didn't even finish the first season with the Mets. They were done with him midway through June. But that's what I'm saying. Or that's what I was saying earlier. That the Mets used to be able to sign free agents like Verlander, Scherzer, Lindor, Soto. They used to be able to do it. Now these free agents just take their offer, go right to the Dodgers, and say, "Can you offer more?" No, I agree. They're like, if Bo Bichette is it, fine. Then that's it. You know, screw Bellinger. Go get someone. That or trade for Skubal. Like I said, if you want to stop the Dodgers from getting Skubal, you have to trade for him before spring training starts. Do I think he should be fired? It's going to depend on the beginning of this season. If the Mets get off, but usually the Mets don't get off to a slow start. Usually it's around May or June that they get off to that slow start. Or they get off to that bad stretch. And then it goes downhill from there. So, I don't know if he'll be fired. You know, if the Mets are not projected to get more than 70 wins, he should absolutely be fired. And then the Mets can begin their whole search for a new manager during 2027. Gary Carter raised the apple. Exactly. If they don't perform well, Mendoza is gone.
Ball. That's inside.
It's not his fault, but, well, actually last season was his fault because he horribly managed starting pitchers and the bullpen. which would be David Stearns. But see, I've never been in favor of someone like David Stearns being the GM as well as the president of baseball operations. I think the Mets should have gotten some other GM.
Leading off for Oregon, the right
Not if
fielder,
it's not worth it.
Soto.
I keep seeing all the minor league signings, all these pitchers and everything down in the minor leagues and everything, getting a minor league contract. I see that. I'm not raising the apple for them. I'm not even raising the apple for Bo Bichette.
Runner!
Ball. Oh, hey! I got a ball, one strike.
So,
No, inside.
it's all up to what fans want to do. They can make an example this season. Don't go to any games. I mean, Dodger fans are not going to do that, but all the other teams can.
Nope, outside. Ball four, take the base.
Come on, DeGrom.
He's out.
Leading off.
But
for
that's
the
not going to happen.
The third baseman, Jenkins. Right.
Because people are still going to go to opening day. People are still going to go on the weekends. After all, kids want to go see baseball. Or their parents seem to think that they want to go play baseball or go see
Now
baseball.
batting, shortstop, Francisco Lindor.
And it'll never happen.
Now batting.
Honestly,
the
the Rockies are already there.
Runner!
No, he's still with the Texas Rangers.
He's dead. Hey!
Why? What does Corey Seager have to do with anything?
Now batting, right fielder, Juan Soto.
Okay. All right. But for me, the only way that the Mets can salvage this, I mean, I don't even want Framber Valdez at this point.
Leading off.
I
for
say
the
go
Dodgers,
for broke
the second baseman,
because at this
Tommy
point you're worried about the Dodgers getting Tarek Skubal. I say the Mets step up and they do what they can to get Skubal and sign him to a long-term contract. Don't even let him get to free agency. Say whatever you want, we'll give it to you.
0-1.
I know that seems desperate, but unless you want Skubal to end up in the hands of the Dodgers and likely going to be a Dodger for the remainder of his career, you got to make this trade. You have to. No other team is going to do it.
2-2 to count.
out.
You know, is
0-1's the
is
count.
there any pitcher who makes over 30 million a year? Does DeGrom make that, or Yamamoto, Sasaki? Here, I'll check. Hold on. Does any pitcher in the MLB make over $30 million annually?
Zach Greinke and David Price also make $30 million or more each. This is from
Leading off for New Jersey, the first baseman, Pete.
Hold on, I just need to pause the game for a minute. Okay, so Tarek Skubal not going to be. He wouldn't be the first one. I honestly, I say give him 35 million. Okay, I'm good, Woogie. You can unpause now. Thank you. I have to look stuff up on my phone because my internet is somewhat slow on my laptop when I'm streaming, so I need to do it on my phone. That's the only quick way I can get results. Okay, good. Go sign him. If they're that confident in Conforto, although not sure what they can get out of Conforto that the Dodgers didn't already get. I'm just saying, if you're the Mets, you gotta get Scoopel. Like, screw Valdez, screw any other pitcher out there. Scoopel is it. You cannot let him fall into the hands of the Dodgers. You have to trade for him. Does that mean that the Mets are likely going to have to give up their farm system? Yes. But that's what it's going to take.
0-1.
And if you give up guys like Jonah Tong, Brandon Sproat, I wouldn't touch Nolan McLean, but I would definitely give up Brandon Sproat and Jonah Tong if that's what it takes. No, I don't think Steve Cohen should sell.
1 ball, 1 strike.
2 playoff appearances in 5 years is about more than what I've seen. More than what I've seen between 2007 and 2014. The only playoff appearances I saw prior to the Wilpont or prior to the Cohens was 2006, 2015, and 2016. And even I don't really count 2016 because that's like one game and they lost it against the Giants. But it's a playoff game, so I begrudgingly accept that. And I've already seen 2 playoff appearances in 5 seasons. So 2015. Okay. All right. Well, I just saw that the countdown was getting close to I saw it getting close to 0, so I didn't want this game to end like that. So
Now batting, the designated hitter.
But yeah, that was 2015 when they went to the World Series.
Ball that's outside.
Maybe, maybe not. I can't get into Chase Utley's mind. What I can do is see what I saw, or explain what I saw, which is Chase Utley sliding to the right of the bag, so it was clear he was trying to break up the double play. I've seen that move happen dozens of times. Okay, it's not a new baseball move, it's not a dirty move. It's a move that they were doing in baseball as early as even beyond the 2000s. All right? But either way, he slid into Ruben Tejada. He broke up the double play. Because Ruben Tejada got hurt at the end of the day. He got hurt. And people don't like it when one of their players, especially in the playoffs, gets hurt. Plus, at that point, it was a rally cry for the Mets. They wanted someone to vilify, and Chase Utley basically gave it to them. Doesn't make it right, but I'm assuming that's what the justification was. I was very angry when I saw that happen. I was very angry by that. Now, Ruben Tejada was not exactly a star shortstop for the Mets, so believe me, I'm not shedding any tears over him now. And besides, the Mets managed to get all the way to the World Series. So at the end of the day, the injury didn't really hurt them as much. It just took a player down.
Aye. 0-1.
But, I mean, that move led to an injury, and people thought it was intentional. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't think that Utley did that on purpose or meant to injure him on purpose. In fact, some of the interviews that I've seen after that, Utley was like, I was trying to break up the double play. I was not trying to injure Ruben Tejada. Okay. But that just makes it like, think of it like this. You could accidentally shoot someone. You may not get charged with murder, but you'll probably get charged with manslaughter, because at the end of the day, you shot someone and they're dead. That's the law. That's what manslaughter is. No?
Ball! That pitch is out.
I mean, some killers try to convince themselves that they didn't mean to do it. But at the end of the day, whether they truly meant it or not, then you probably shouldn't have had a weapon. If you have a mental illness, there are laws.
Leading off for the Ducks.
There are laws that prevent you from owning any kind of weapon. There are laws. Like, I know you can't own a gun if you're a convicted felon. At least, there should be, shouldn't do that in Florida, right?
Now pitching. Tyler.
Hold on. How many states bar ex-convicts from owning a weapon? Okay. Which states bar ex-convicts from owning a weapon? So Kentucky, Louisiana, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. Those are the 5 states that allow ex-convicts to be able to own a weapon. But there are circumstances. In Kentucky, person was granted a full pardon by the governor or the president, or granted full relief by the U.S. Secretary of Treasury pursuant to the 1968 Federal Gun Control Act. In Louisiana, after 10 years from the date of completion of sentence, probation, parole, or suspension of sentence. In Minnesota, after 10 years has elapsed since the person was restored to civil rights, and during that time, the person was not convicted of any other crime of violence. In South Dakota, after 15 years has elapsed since that person was last discharged from prison, jail, probation, or parole. And Wyoming, the person has to be pardoned. So those are the only states that allow ex-convicts to be able to own weapons. But there are all kinds of laws, not just felony convictions, but also mental health. People with not mental health issues, but rather severe mental illnesses, they cannot own a gun. They cannot own a weapon. Depression, I don't know. I think some states don't allow you to have that because, after all, there's the concern that you're going to turn that gun on yourself. But some states, it may be they may have to prove that you are depressed and a danger to yourself. But now I'm just getting political in that aspect. I don't like getting political. I'm just saying that, and I wasn't trying to get political with the whole if you kill someone you still get manslaughter. Like, no, I'm not trying to get political like that. I'm just being practical. You know, some states, they have stand your ground laws which allow you to shoot someone if you feel like you're being attacked. No. That's not on you. That's on me because I chose to talk about crime, and crime like that could be political.
Now pitching, Andrew Miller.
Ball 1, no strikes.
All right, it was just a bad choice by me.
Yeah.
But the way I see it, you kill someone, you kill someone. It's think about it. Maybe I should have done like courts-wise. Okay, if you kill someone criminally, you may not get convicted of it. That's just criminal-wise.
Ball 1.
Okay, but legally, you could be responsible for their deaths, meaning that the family of the person that was killed or shot or whatever can turn around, sue you, and say you did this and you need to cover it. Now, there are laws the laws vary by state, but you know, they can sue you and say that civilly you caused bodily harm to them.
Nope, that's off the plate. Ball 2.
You see how it works? I think O.J. Simpson is the best example of that. He wasn't found he was found not guilty for the murders of
Now batting,
his ex-wife
first baseman,
and her friend.
Alonso.
But yet, he was taken to court legally.
0-1's
Well,
the count.
he was taken to court civilly,
2.
and he was found liable for their deaths. Now, granted, Simpson really dragged out that payout and everything. Then, civilly speaking, the judge will rule in your favor. If you were justified in making
Leading off
the
for
shooting,
Oregon, the left
or you were
fielder,
justified in standing your ground. Florida, I know for a fact, has that. I'm pretty sure Texas does too.
Now pitching. Edwin Diaz.
If they pose an immediate threat to you, such as pointed a gun in your face and you shot them, then you can argue that you were threatened with a gun. I mean, you can't tell if a gun is real or not, or I have a hard time determining if a gun is real or not. So they could say it was fake, but in a panic, if you're being robbed, you're in a panic and you're trying to defend yourself, then see, civilly speaking, you only need a judge to be like slightly in your favor. They may say that you shouldn't have done it, but if they feel like you were justified, then they'll rule in your favor. You just need 51% or the judge to be slightly in your corner in order for them to rule in your favor.
3-2.
You're asking a question. Why are you're asking about stand your ground? Strike 3, sit down.
The batter, number 5. Shortstop, Corey Seager.
That's why you go to court. I'm not one to say you shouldn't let people rob you like that. I mean,
1 ball, 2 strikes.
you can if you want to, if you don't want to get in trouble and rather have the legal system take care of the robber. But that's going to take time. Again, it varies state by state. I don't know what I know for a fact that Florida has the whole stand your ground laws. After all, if you guys remember the Zimmerman trial, well, maybe you guys don't remember, but in 11 it was, there was a guy by the name of Zimmerman who was getting into his car and he was jumped by, I think his name was Trayvon Martin. Yeah, GG's. Hold on, you know what? Let me look this up before I discuss it any further, because it was a long time ago, but George Zimmerman, here we go, yeah. And it was actually 2012, not 2011. Yeah, I nearly blew it at the end, so I'm glad Diaz finally stepped up. But yeah, George Zimmerman, hang on. Basically, the understanding that I have of the trial is that Zimmerman was trying to get into his car. He alleges that Trayvon Martin jumped him in the parking lot. I don't know if he stole anything, but Zimmerman claims that Martin jumped him, and as Martin was leaving or running away, Zimmerman took out his gun and shot Martin, killing him. And what Zimmerman was charged of was second-degree murder, and he was also accused of racially profiling Martin. But state law in Florida said that you have a right to stand your ground. So criminally speaking, George Zimmerman was found not guilty of murder for Trayvon Martin. Just type in George Zimmerman, Trayvon Martin murder trial, and you'll get the story about that. It was a pretty big deal back then. I remember it because I was watching the news on it, and then when I heard the verdict, I was shocked. Because I didn't understand back then, like in my mind, if you kill someone, that's murder. But I didn't understand that Florida had these stand your ground laws. I didn't understand that. So that's why I was shocked by it. You know, I watched so many crime shows because my mom would watch them when I was younger, and I would think, oh, this person killed someone, they're going to jail. And that's what I thought with Martin. I didn't know that Florida had a stand your ground law. Let's see. Well, Trayvon Martin was a black teenager, so we're talking 13 years old to 18 or 19 years old. He was a 17-year-old at the time. And George Zimmerman was a 28-year-old. See, now my memory may be foggy. My memory may be foggy, but I'm pretty sure that's what started the whole Black Lives Matter movement. Or that was just the start of Black Lives Matter, because that was a black teen getting shot and killed and no one being held responsible. Again, my memory may be a little faded, but I would argue that that's probably Trayvon Martin's death was probably the start of the Black Lives Matter movement. Because he was well before George Floyd, obviously. He was well before Breonna Taylor. Well before, who was the other one? The kid, Ferguson? Who was the kid in Ferguson, Missouri that was shot by police? I forget that one, but I remember it. There were also riots in Baltimore as well over some kid that was shot there, or some black person shot there. See, in high school, I used to pay attention. But I would argue that Trayvon Martin started it all.
one.
Well, I mean, stand your ground laws in Florida allowed for it.
He's out.
Now, that doesn't, I don't think stand your ground applies to, exactly. Yeah, you got to watch your surroundings, but you can't just fire at someone, or you can't just attack someone, raise the apple for Jose Bautista, just because they look suspicious. Like, stand your ground, I only think goes if you are being threatened.
Nope, that's foul.
I don't think it extends to you feel like someone could threaten you, so you need to deal with them before they deal with you. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You got to watch your surroundings. You know, my philosophy is, if you can remove yourself from a situation that is violent, then you should do that, and that you should only resort to violence if there's no other choice. Like, you have no other option. You've done everything you could. You tried to defuse. You tried to walk away. You tried to do everything and anything you could to get out of the situation, and you couldn't. Thus, you had to resort to violence to defend yourself. That's the important thing. Defend yourself. I'll give you a good example, okay? Most recently, in fact, last Friday, was it? Or it was 2 Fridays ago, because it was the morning of my grandfather's wake. There was this... So I was walking home from work. I had just gotten off at 4, and I was taking the train back.
All one's the count.
I was taking the train back from New York City to see Caucus. I needed to take the train in order to get home. So I'm walking through New York City. I get to Penn Station. I get to where the NJ Transit entrance is to
Pitching for the Rockies,
to Penn
number
Station,
38.
and I notice while I'm walking that there is a person. There is a person who is standing right by the entrance of the escalator to take down.
Leading off for New Jersey, the designated hitter.
How do you download? I'll show you after this game. I'll show you. And so I immediately think that that's not right, or something's not right about this, but at the time I thought that was the only... Yes, it's very simple. At the time I thought that was the only escalator that was going down. I didn't realize that the middle one was also going down. Otherwise I would have just gone to that escalator. But I didn't see that, so I walked to that escalator that was going down, that this person was standing right next to. And she immediately gets in front of me and starts yelling at me. Okay, this is a woman, a black woman. She is clearly, I did not think, she was clearly angry. Why she chose me, I think because I walked in front of her, or I was trying to walk by her, and she just wanted to get in my face. I don't know why she picked me. I think I was just convenient. And she decided to get up in front of me.
The center fielder.
Yes, it is. She decided to get in front of me and start yelling at me. And no doubt, I was scared. Okay? I'm not going to lie. There was fear in my heart, because I don't know what she's going to do. I don't know if she's going to pull a knife on me, or if she's just going to start pushing me. I didn't know. So I just stood there and just listened to it. No, I did not call the cops. Because other than berating me, she's not really committing a crime. And berating isn't really committing a crime anyway. No, I did not run away. I just stood there because I had to get down there. So I just stood there, let her go on her rant. She left, and then I went down the escalator. All right? So in that situation, basically what I did is, hold on, I got to raise the apple.
Now pitching for the Rockies.
She might have had a bad night.
Number 57.
She didn't look like someone who was.
Haley.
She didn't look like someone who was homeless to me. I mean, I see these homeless people from time to time. They can approach you. Sometimes they're confrontational. Sometimes they aren't. Raise the apple for Xander Bogaerts. So, no, she was just standing at the top of the escalator that I needed to go down in order to get to the train. So I didn't respond to her. I let her yell.
Number 19. Jose.
I was fearful, but I did not feel like she was going to threaten me. If that was the case, then I absolutely would have screamed, yelled, done whatever I could to get the attention of anyone who was passing by, and then I could have defended myself. Or I could try. I probably wouldn't have been successful, but I would have tried. Right? Now, could I have walked away? Sure, but that might have antagonized her any more. And the problem is you don't want to turn your back on anyone because they could easily pull out a knife behind you and start stabbing. I didn't know if she had a weapon. Now, she never showed me a weapon, so I assume that she did not have a weapon on her at that time.
Now batting.
But I didn't know for sure. And why would I take that risk? You never want to turn your back on someone who is angry with you for some reason. That's something that I feel like is just kind of common sense. Like, you should never do it. But I felt like that would just let her, in that situation, just let her yell, let her scream, let her do whatever she wants. She'll get tired of it eventually, because she was making no sense. She was not making any sense whatsoever. And then she walked away. I didn't respond to her because that would have only antagonized the situation. I felt that would have only antagonized the situation. No, she was actually relatively young. Like, I would definitely say 20s. This was 2 weeks ago. But I'm just saying, in that situation, if I had a gun on me, first of all, I don't think New York has a stand your ground law, so that wouldn't have helped. That wouldn't have helped me. But even if there was a stand your ground law, just because she approached me and started berating me, that's no reason for me to take out a weapon or a gun or anything and attack her. Like I said, New York doesn't even have a stand your ground law, so. and I didn't even have a weapon at that time. So it's not like I had anything other than my 2 hands to defend myself.
Pitching for the Rockies, number 54.
Plus, I was also in my mind too, in the back of my mind, and I just kind of thought about it as I was on the train. It wouldn't have been very good for me if I was seen attacking it. Does my dad? Yes, he knows. He hears me. He's fine with it. He's fine with it.
He's out.
I mean, he jokes around with me saying, "Oh, I'm talking to a bunch of 10-year-olds." That's that's not an insult against you guys. It's just in his mind. In his mind, it's a bunch of kids that I'm talking to. So like he doesn't know that some of you guys are older than teens. He doesn't mean it as an insult against you. He means it more as an insult against me. But in a joking manner. Like he at the end of the day, he helps me file my taxes, and he sees that I am making money from doing this.
Ball, that's off the plate.
I don't believe so, no.
He's out.
Because unless some of you were lying on your Twitch accounts. No, he hears me. He hears me. He's downstairs. He can hear me. And actually, now that I think about it, yeah, the whole me talking up to a bunch of 10-year-olds, that's actually not against you guys, but rather he remembers my younger days when I used to play backyard baseball, and a lot of the kids or a lot of the players in the game were young kids, 10-year-olds. So in his mind, he thinks that's what I'm doing. That I'm playing backyard baseball or whatever. And I'm talking to a bunch of 10-year-olds. I think that's what he... Or jokingly, that's what he thinks. I've been streaming... I officially started... Well, I've had multiple attempts at streaming. The first time that I ever streamed was back when I was in college, and I was trying WWE 2K17, and I remember because I had an Intercontinental Championship match between The Miz and Undertaker, and that was like one of my key rivalries at the time. So I was trying Universe Mode in WWE, and then I stopped on that and didn't pick up on it again until I played MLB The Show 18 well after I graduated college. Okay, and I was just inspired by Kooks 46 to stream it. So I tried to stream it, and then I eventually got frustrated. So that was like the second attempt. And at that time, I was also playing NBA 2K18, I want to say at the time. Oh, yes, Woogie. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Okay, so you go to the main menu, and you're going to go to Create up in the upper right corner next to Settings. You're going to go to Stadium Creator. Now, I already have it here, but you're going to go to the vault most popular. Okay, so this is La Graza right here, but you need La Graza 2.0. It actually might be under recent uploads. I think you could also search it too. Let's see. Or maybe you got to go to different pages. Ah, there it is. Okay. So you're going to hit square or whatever the button is for more options. It might be X. Once you find La Graza 2.0. So let me know when you do that. Right there in the bottom left corner. It should be on the second page of the vault most popular. It should be by Poppy Asher. Yes. Okay. It's just this is the stadium that if you want to hit a lot of home runs, this is the one to go to. All right, and all you're going to do is hit X or square. I think you have Xbox, so for you it should be X, and then you're going to hit save. And if it saves, then you should be able to use it in Diamond Dynasty. All you would have to do is go to play versus CPU. You got to play as the home team because if you play as the away team, it's not going to work. And then you're going to go over to created stadiums when you select this stadium, and it should be right there. Should be like one of the first ones to come up. Does that make sense? And any questions on that? No problem. Might as well use it now because it's not going to be in next year's game unless somebody remembers how to make it and they're willing to be banned from MLB The Show just to put it in. So use it while you can because I don't think it's going to be in next year or in the next title. Heck, I don't even know if Created Stadium is even going to be part of MLB The Show 26. I don't know. They might take it out because of this La Graza shenanigans. Yeah, no problem. I'm all about helping people achieve whatever they want in MLB The Show. Now, I'll remind you, or I'll warn you, Woogie, that you cannot use created stadiums online. So don't even try to use it online. Just use it for offline purposes. Also, just so you're aware, there is a cap on Parallel XP that you can earn with your players. So, when you see me quit after I score 80 to 100 runs, it's because I don't want to reach the cap in the game. So, do not play the full 9 innings at La Graza. Also, do not use your best pitchers at La Graza because there are going to be home runs and extra base hits and runs scoring throughout the game. So, don't use Tarek Skubal. Don't use Tom Seaver, Jacob deGrom, whoever. Don't use them because you're gonna inflate their stats. I would use common pitchers because at that point it doesn't really matter. Who cares about them? Strike 3, sit out. They're common pitchers. Only use they was during the Moonshot program. Generally speaking, I say 2 to 3.
Leading off for New Jersey.
But I'm saying aim for 80 to 100 runs. That's generally my sweet spot in play versus CPU. Raise the apple for Jose Bautista.
Now pitching for the Chicago Cubs, number 40, Brad Keller.
No problem.
Ball.
It's something that I avoided for a very long time because I kept hearing about people getting banned over using it, and I was afraid that if I tried using it, then I was going to get banned. And it turns out the only person I know of who got banned is the guy who created the stadium. Now, there might have been other people who tried to use the stadium online that got banned, but if you do a full team lineup, like an all Mariners lineup or an all Phillies lineup or an all Mets lineup, it shouldn't take you long. I don't know which cards you need to be able to get, or I don't know which cards you're aiming for in terms of team affinity.
That ball's foul.
But definitely build up that. Okay, so you're going to want to do a bunch of Yankees. Raise the apple for Edgar Martinez. And if I had kept my lineup instead of changing it from the Mets or changing it to the Mets from the Yankees, I could have showed you the lineup that I put together for Yankees team affinity. Raise the apple for Luke Keyshaw.
Now pitching for the Cubs, number 24, Caleb Fieldball.
That's a ball. 1 and 2's the count. He's up.
Leading off for the Cubs, the right fielder, Seiya Suzuki.
Hold on, let me change this because now I gotta bring in someone else.
Now pitching, Roki Sasaki.
Ah,
Oh, yeah. Nope, that's in. Yeehaw! 1 and 2's the count. Hey!
strike 3, sit down.
Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Kyle Tucker.
Ah! 0 and 2. Hey!
Strike 3, sit down. Ooh, what a day, huh? What a stream. Talking about MLB free agency news, talking about
Hey!
crime and all that, and
0 and 2.
legal. What a stream.
3.
Strike 3, sit down. And I didn't even get the whole map done. I mean, Woogie gave me the it wanted a game, so but that's okay.
1-0.
It's A-okay.
Heck 1. 1 and 1.
Mm.
Wood! 0-1.
Because it takes too long. It takes too long. You're going to be constantly hitting home runs, and at some point, the parallel XP, you hit the parallel XP count. So you're better off just scoring 80 to 100 runs and then being done with it. You'll get over 1,000 parallel XP. All right, raise the apple for Jim Tomey. Plus, in my mind, it gets pretty boring after a while because all you're doing is just hitting home runs. Like, and you gotta be careful because the other team can do the same thing. That's why I say use common pitchers.
He's go. Hee-haw! No balls, 2 strikes. Nope, ball.
Strike 3, sit down.
Heck! 0 and 1. Heck! 0-2.
Strike 3, sit down. I mean, you could try drawing walks. I contact swing, so sometimes when I contact swing, if the ball doesn't go over the wall, sometimes the player will phase through the wall and end up on end up on first. But more often than not, they just score the run. Ugh. So, but drawing walks is probably your best bet, and that could be tough to do. Just so I don't miss any territories. Sometimes you'll even get ground rule doubles. Sometimes that'll happen, but that's not going to get you bases loaded. That'll only get you a runner on second. Ugh. They rated the Phillies at 78 overall. I can't believe that.
1-0.
Runner!
Hee-haw!
No, he's safe.
One and one.
That boy Bogarts.
Hey, X! Ball, that's in.
Nice. Jim Thome is very familiar with hitting home runs in this stadium, but today he's raising the apple instead of ringing the bell.
Now pitching for the Phillies, number 30, David Robertson.
There we go. Yep. That's exactly what I thought would happen.
Batting fifth, the
Or,
catcher,
well, I
Carson
kind of hoped it would
Kelly.
happen. Ugh.
Please go. Safe.
There
He's
we
in
go.
there.
At least he beat out the double play.
Now pitching for the Phillies, number 54, Ken Mesa. Batting ninth, the center fielder, Michael Harris.
Hee-haw. 0-1. Did he go?
Anything else going on Twitter? Is that, I should know.
Now batting, the left fielder, Jaron Duran.
Nice.
He's safe.
Woo! Xander Bogaerts. Raise the apple.
Now pitching for the Phillies, number 50, Orion Kerkering.
What does the Apple Post mean? What Apple Post? Oh, what is it supposed to mean?
Now batting, the right
Well,
fielder, Jose
New York City is the Big Apple.
Bautista.
So that's what the apple is for. It's a homage to New York City. Oh, raise the apple. That's what when the Mets hit a home run at Citi Field, they
Hee-haw.
raise the apple out of the hat
No balls. 2 strikes.
for the home run.
He's out. Huck. Hey. No balls. 2 strikes. Rich.
Strike 3, sit down.
Hee-haw! 2! 0-2. Hey, 3!
Strike 3, sit out.
Heck 1! 0 balls, 1 strike. Hey, heck! 0-2. Hey!
Strike 3, sit out. Dang. Senga didn't even need the defense on that one. He was just like, I'll take care of this myself.
That's a ball.
I think
1 ball,
the
1
whole home Apple popping out of the home run thing, I think that started in the 80s, I want to say.
Oh,
Here, I'll look it up because it's I don't know off the top of my head the history of it. So when did the Mets home run Apple first appear? First appeared at Shea Stadium in 1980, introduced by then-owner Nelson Doubleday as a marketing tool to boost fan interest, playing off New York City's Big Apple nickname. The original apple popped out of a top hat with Mets Magic on it, though the slogan was later changed to Home Run, becoming a beloved tradition. Excuse me. So there you go. It started in 1980, which is what I thought. I thought it came in the 80s, but I wasn't sure.
down, ball.
Dang. I thought for sure that was going to get down. Didn't. Maybe even off the wall, that would have been better. Why they got to take that away from me?
Hee-haw! He's out. Hey! Heck 2. 0-2. Hee-haw!
Strike 3, sit out.
Ball. Yeah! 1-1.
Strike 3, sit down.
Now batting, the center fielder, Michael Harris. Now batting, left fielder, Jaron Duran.
What they say was 3 years
Batter,
with
number two,
opt-out.
shortstop,
Yeah, because it's
Xavier
42 million.
Bogart.
Hee-haw! It's 0-1. One and one. Ball. 2-1. Right two.
Doesn't
Get
matter.
there.
The first baseman, number 25, Jim Tony.
Alright, so Singer just needs to wrap this up.
Hit him.
Should be fairly simple. He'll become, what, the fourth Mets pitcher? Well, fourth Mets starting pitcher that I've
0-1.
superfractored.
Two.
No, actually, let's see.
No, that's inside.
There's Seaver. There's Nolan McLean. Didn't I superfractor Al Leiter? I don't think I did. So I have to check that.
That's a ball. 2-2. Hee-haw!
Strike 3, sit out.
Hee-haw! No balls, 2 strikes. Ball, that's down. Oh. Hack! No balls, 1 strike. Here! Ball.
Strike 3, sit down. Alright, great job, Senga. 7 strikeouts for him. Wow, so only 2 batters. Did not get... Only 2 batters didn't strike out against him. That's something. Jaron Duran is at tier 4. Bogarts is also at tier 4. What are we doing on the rest of them? Let's see. Carson Kelly is close to being tier 4. Edgar Martinez is still a ways away. Luke Keyshaw is slowly making his way. Michael Harris, same thing. Jose Bautista, and still a ways away. Same thing with Tommy. Alright, so we're looking at Martinez. Spammer. Gross. PS5. If I had a capture card then I would be well, I do have a capture card, but I don't have the internet to be able to stream off of it. Believe me, if that were the case, the whole lineup freezing issue that I've been dealing with all year, that would not be as big of an issue to me, because I would just be like, okay, let me quit out, restart the game, and then just restart it. Ah, man. Can't believe I don't get to play on rookie. Oh well. You know, I know a lot of people are talking about free agency and everything, but I don't know if you guys are paying attention to, I guess it's the Venezuela Baseball League. Luis Angel Acuna is absolutely lighting it the F up. Like, he's hitting home runs, doubles. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up with the league's MVP. The dude is freaking killing it there. And that kind of gives me some hope that Acuna can be something for the Mets. You know, obviously he needs to still develop, but you know, Acuna, I'm starting to have a little hope in. Am I excited for the World Baseball Classic? I'm rooting for Team USA. You know, unfortunately, only 2 Mets on there. That's Nolan McLean and Clay Holmes. But I guess it's better than nothing. Still, you know, I have my concerns about it, especially after the Diaz injury 3 years ago. Nearly 3 years ago.
No balls, 2 strikes.
You know what's funny? I just kind of thought about this. The Mets are going to Toronto this year. So that means Bichette is going to return to Toronto. He's going to make his return in June. And I was planning on going to that game, or to one of those games.
Ball, extra tag. He's safe. Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike. Foul.
Strike 3, sit out.
Hey. Oh, 2.
He might be. I'm not sure what the rosters are. Strike 3, sit out. The only one that I know of is Aaron Judge. He's definitely starting for Team USA. I'm not sure.
Now pitching for the New York Mets, number 25, Brooks
Hey.
Raley.
0-1.
I think Mike Piazza is managing the Italian team. That's the only coach that I think I know.
Hitter, Carlos Delgado.
Ball.
Not sure. It's going to be in March, I believe. It might be at the end of February, but I know the majority of it is in March. That boy Delgado.
Out.
Batting eighth, the second baseman, Luke Keishaw.
No, he got it.
Now pitching for the New York Mets, number 71, Tyler
Nope,
Rogers.
that's a ball. Counts 1-0.
Oh, I guess I could have stolen with Keyshaw. Oh well.
Yep, that ball went out. He's safe.
Bubbles, are you still here? Because I want to. You had a question yesterday about why some batters or why some batters when they end up on second they don't get credited with a extra base hit. They only get a single, and that was a example there. If I can they did count him with a double. I thought he was a single. Anyway, so the reason that some players don't get credited with a double is because it depends on the situation. Now, in this case, I think that Harris should not have gotten the double. Instead, he should have just gotten a single. Because if we look, Juan Soto fielded that, and if it weren't for the runner on second over that, or if it weren't for this runner right here, Keyshaw. Can I get on Keyshaw? No. Oh, yes, I can. So, like, you can look here, and you could see that clearly Soto was trying to go home, but at that point, Keyshaw had already scored, and thus the relay man, Alonso, now wants to throw out Harris, which he is not successful in doing. So in that case, Harris should have only gotten the double, or should have only gotten the single, because if not for that runner, if not for Keyshaw, Soto in all likelihood would have gone to second, and Harris wouldn't have been able to advance. Now, I don't know why the game decided to credit him with a double. I think that's wrong, but
1-0.
you know what? I'm not going to question it. If they want to, at the end of the day, he's on second base, whether he had the single or the double. And he got an RBI, too.
Foul ball.
But if not for Keyshaw, Harris would have never ended up on second. If Keyshaw wasn't on base, Harris would have gotten the single, and he wouldn't have moved up to second.
No, that's foul.
I just know that was a question that I couldn't really, or I didn't answer very well yesterday, and I needed more of a
2 balls,
visualization
2 strikes.
to help me explain it. And when that happened, I just felt like that was my opportunity to explain. And there we go. That's going to be a home run, no doubt. Raise the apple for Jaron Duran.
Now pitching for the Mets, number 56, Ryan Helsley.
That's a ball. Ball, that's off the plate. Ah. 1-1. Aye. Ball in.
Strike 3, sit down.
Ball, that's outside. Aye. Aye. 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 3.
Strike 3, sit down. Wow, 100 strikeouts for Senga? Holy cow.
Ball, that's inside. Hey! I got 1 ball, 1 strike.
Strike 3, sit down. Ooh. I don't know if I'll have enough time.
Now pitching for the Mets, number 43,
One more. We'll have to see.
Rosalba. Now batting, catcher Carson Kelly.
No, don't. Okay, whatever.
Carlos Delgado.
Whatever. If you want to listen to music, I get it. I'm boring. I know. I'm joking. I know you don't think I'm boring. What is? Oh, that you think I'm boring? No, I know you're not. I know you don't think I'm boring. If you thought that was the case, you wouldn't keep coming back. Unless you were a troll. Wow.
Nope, that's foul. One ball, 2 strikes.
Oh, I tried to hold up. I'm really not surprised. I said that in a tweet or in a post on X last night. I'm not surprised. The Dodgers were way too quiet to be considered out. I just had the feeling that they were going to come up with some contract that was going to blow the Blue Jays and the Mets out of the water. And sure enough, they did. Yeah, and the Dodgers got him for a deal that makes even less sense. You're paying a guy $60 million, which is more than what you're paying. I mean, of course, I'm not counting the deferrals, but you're paying him more than you're paying a two-time MVP in Shohei Ohtani, at least in the National League. Can't forget about his American League MVP as well. You're also paying him more than Freddie Freeman, who was a World Series MVP for the Dodgers. You're paying him more than Teoscar Hernandez, who I think won the home run derby for the Dodgers in 24? 23? 23, 24? Something like that. It was the last time Alonso participated in the home run derby. 24. Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you. You're also paying him more than Roki Sasaki, more than Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who won World Series MVP this year. You get what I'm saying? Like, they made a full press at Kyle Tucker, and they were willing to pay any price to get him. Which, no other teams hate it. I say there's nothing. Why not the Mets? Because the Dodgers offered more. And I am of the philosophy that agents and baseball players say, okay, we know the Mets can offer us a big deal, but can they win? And so far, the answer to that question has been no. Because otherwise they would have won in 2024. They would have gone further into the playoffs than they did in 2022, and they would have made the playoffs in 21 or 23, and they didn't. And 25. Yep. But I am he's another one that I believe took the Mets offer, went to the Dodgers, and said, give me more money. Because I think he always wanted to be on the Dodgers. It's just his agent probably told him, hey, the Mets are going to make a heavy push. They're willing to pay up. Maybe the Dodgers will be willing too. I think he always wanted to be on the Dodgers because his family in Japan can watch him. He'll be teammates with Shohei Ohtani. Yep. I think that was the whole thing. I don't think the Mets were anything more than a team that was going to put a number on a page that they could take to the Dodgers and say, can you beat this offer? And the Dodgers said yes. And they beat it. And they have a World Series MVP in it. That's why I was saying earlier, Stearns and Cohen need to turn this image around. Raise the apple for Jim Thome. Yeah. Yeah. Raise the apple for Jose Bautista.
Out.
No. Nope. I am a Mets fan. I am, for better or for worse, I'm going to say raise the apple. No one ain't changing that for me. So, for David Stearns and Steve Cohen, they got to turn their image around. An image of merely just a team that's willing to pay up for top free agents. You know, Soto, that's why I say you got to convince Soto to stay. Otherwise, all the Mets did was just pay $50 million to a guy who took the money and basically played, and then decided that after 4 years he had enough of playing for the Mets. I mean, the big thing for me is going to be winning. Can the Mets win? If they can't win, it's less and less likely that Soto stays. I don't like it. I'm maybe in the minority, but I don't like it. I think it was a panic signing that Cohen and Stearns were misled to believe that maybe they would get him or get Tucker. They didn't, and they felt like they just had to turn around and give it. I think the money was too high, and I think there's no place for Bo Bichette for him to play. He clearly can't play short because Lindor's going to do that. He's not going to play second because that's where Marcus Semion's going to be. Or it's going to be Acuna or whoever. Third base should have belonged to Brett Beatty. Now we're going to bump him and a guy who has been playing third base regularly for the Mets for a guy who has never played third base in his life. I'm sorry, but that doesn't make any sense.
He's out.
And especially since last year, he was one of the worst defenders or defensive infielders in the game. In MLB, he had a bad zone rating. He was just... Only reason I could think of is that he was merely his bat. He had a great bounce back. I'm willing to concede that. He had a great bounce back, but defensive-wise, there are questions. And how's that working out for him? Is it like good? But see, here's the thing. Mookie could play short. He could play second. He could play right field. He had a variety of positions. The Mets are asking Bo Bichette to play a position he has never played before. And they're asking the same thing of Jorge Polanco, where he only played one game at first base. What are you talking about? Bo Bichette, when he came up, he was a shortstop. Oh, I thought he did play short. Or he could play short. I thought you were talking about Bo for a second. Okay.
Nope, that's down.
All right, well. And again, if the plan was get defensive or prevent runs from scoring, then fine. But what's with all this mixing and matching for these players? Why are we putting Polanco at first base when he's only played there once? Why are we putting Bo Bichette at third base when he's never played there before? Especially when you consider the fact that we have Brett Beatty who who plays third regularly. Granted, he probably still needs to improve defensively, but at least he's improving.
Yep, that ball went out.
It just really baffles me, this whole deal with Bo Bichette. I think this was merely a panic signing on Steve Cohen and David Stearns' part. I don't know why they went to Bo Bichette. I would have preferred they at least go to Cody Bellinger. But in my eyes, this was not a good deal. $42 million for Bo Bichette is a lot. And we're giving up a lot for him. We're giving up our draft picks. We're giving up our $1 million in international free agency.
The right fielder, number 19, Jose.
Like, just to me, it made no sense to get Bo. The only way I see the Mets salvaging this offseason is if they trade for Tarek Skubal. If they want to keep Skubal out of the hands of the Dodgers, nope, not happy at all. We needed outfield help. That's why we pursued Tucker. But now we're supposed to get. Now we're saying we're just going to focus on the infield.
He's out.
I don't like it. I do not like it. And for $42 million a year, if the Mets have a terrible season, they could have a high draft pick in next year in 2027 draft. Okay, if that's the case, there's a big problem. They have to shed their payroll. Because otherwise they're going to lose 10 spots in the draft. They could get the number one overall pick. I don't think that's likely, but they could get the number one overall pick, and they would get dumped down 10 spots because they're over the luxury tax.
0-1's the count.
So they could go from first overall pick to 11th overall pick at best. At best. I don't think that's going to happen because the White Sox and the Rockies, they're bad. They're absolutely bad. Strike 3, sit out. So, the Mets are just going to get a lower draft pick. Unless they can shed payroll. But that would mean cutting ties, I think, with Manaya, with Senga. You got to get rid of those two. You have to. I wouldn't have even signed Polanco unless if I knew I was getting Semien. I'd rather not have gone after Bo Bichette. I understand he was in talks with the Phillies, but that I'm okay with. Because they were going to probably put him at second and DH whenever they need him to. Not sign him to play third base, a position he's never played before. I hate to end this stream now, but it's past 6 o'clock, and if I play another game, it's clearly going to take me beyond 6, and I really need to start getting ready for work. So that's going to do it for me, guys. So thank you to everyone who tuned in. Even if it was only for a moment, I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to follow me here on Twitch and or subscribe. Either one would make me a happy person. If you're watching this on YouTube, I thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you liked the video and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to know when I go live, you can follow me on X at TTVNextJGGen24. It's my gamer tag that's on the left side of your screen there. So go give me a follow. I'll usually post whenever I go live. You can also turn on notifications here on Twitch. That way Twitch sends you an email every time I start a stream. This was a very, I wouldn't say intense stream, but it was a very discussion-filled stream. Obviously, I did not get the Snowflake map done like I would have wanted to. It is what it is. What I think I'll do is that maybe over the weekend, if I have time, I'll finish that up because I don't want to spend another day on it. I think today is going to be the last day that I focus on the Snowflake map. And then come Monday, I'll just start on the USA map, the forever map, so that could get started and we could get all the rewards from there. So I hope to see you all on Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And until then, guys, have a good night and have a great weekend. See ya.